presented by One Stop Goaltending. I'm Coach Mike or Michael, I guess. I don't even know how I refer to myself. And we got Billy Cawthorn back on. I think this is going to be the third podcast in a row at least.
What's up?
Happy 101 episode. We're getting a little too comfortable with each other. Today's topic is how to stand out during minor hockey tryouts. Every tryout's different. Some organizations have a goalie session and then games. Some have practices and games. Some just do games. Some last a whole damn month. Some last a week. Some last a weekend. Right? So Billy and I have kind of chatted here and there about like how do we get selfishly our goalies to have that spotlight a little bit more, right? I think we've come up with some good ideas, some bizarre ones maybe, and some that might just have to be proven by one of you. But Billy, what do you think a goalie can do, should do to stand out positively, hopefully? There's easy ways. Well, you know what? Let me backtrack here. There's really easy ways to stand out negatively, right? And I'm just going to rattle off a handful, and that's something that you should not do, right? Keyword on should and not. Give up on pucks. Be late to getting on ice. Throwing your water bottle. Smashing your stick. Screaming, yelling. Pretty much act as a buffoon. Forget your gear. It's not the worst thing on that list, but might not help you stop the puck. Yeah, my biggest one on that is honestly giving up and being a buffoon, right? But we're not here to talk about the negative. Just want to make sure that's out there, clear as day, what not to do. Right. All right, Billy, back to the positive. What do you think somebody can do to stand out positively for minor hockey tryouts? So ballpark, we're kind of more thinking along the lines of U11 to U15. I know that's a big spread, but obviously U18 is also in there as well.
Yeah, I'd say the biggest thing is be positive, say hi to the person sitting at the front desk or whatever, sitting at the table. Usually there's someone sitting there giving your jersey out. Say thank you, say please, maybe open the door for someone. Like, who knows? Some rinks, in Regina, for example, there's like 6 rinks in the one building. Say you're walking in with your bag and you open the door and there's a person behind you and you just let it shut in their face. And say that person is one of the evaluators. Well, even just something that little,
it can make a difference. I don't want to get off on too many tangents today. I know. It's a good example. It's a good example, right? And that just goes for life. You never know who's walking in, right? Everybody's seen the TikToks, Instagram reels of someone being really mean on an elevator going for a job interview, and then that person turns out to be the person that is interviewing them, right? Same sort of philosophy goes for this as well, right? But being friendly, being positive, saying hi to people, I don't think you have to go out of your way to do anything special, but you're walking through the door, double check, is anybody right behind me? Yes, no. All right, then walk through the door, right? If yes, then hold the door, right? Do I have to check in, get a jersey? Yeah, okay, say hi, how's it going? I'm so-and-so, right there on your list. I'd like a big jersey, right? Make sure the numbers are nice and clear, right? So yeah, I would say be friendly, especially with the rink attendants too, as always for me. Because rink attendants do a lot, and yeah, sometimes the ice stinks and sometimes the ice is really good, but they're always going to have your back when stuff goes sideways. Anyways, what else do you have besides being friendly and positive?
Have a proper warm-up routine.
Off ice or on
and on the ice?
Okay.
Both. If you get on the ice early too, Don't be dragging your feet and be the last guy on the ice. And say usually in tryouts, maybe you have a 5-minute warm up. Maybe and go out on the bench as the Zamboni gets off. Be the first guy to step on the ice. Do your stretching. Do your skating. Be ready to go. So when you get out there, don't get out there when there's 2 minutes left in the warm up, and you're dragging your feet. So that's a big part of it. Have an off ice warm up routine, whatever. It doesn't have to be super complicated. Go for a little run, do some juggling, do your stretches for 10, 15 minutes. So say that's a 30-minute warm up, and then you're good to go. People see that. People recognize faces a lot of the time. Like, that's a big thing. Like, I remember going into exit interviews, and people would remember my name either because I introduced myself or just because of little habits like that, and be like, "Oh, you were I saw you warming up before skates or whatever, right?
Yeah.
I saw you get on the ice. You were the first guy on the ice today." So I think those little things can go a lot further than you think.
Totally. So a couple things I want to touch on that for sure. Proper warm up off ice, huge. Proper warm up, best of the ability you can on ice, right? I'm going to do that one a little bit later. Big fan of, as soon as you touch the ice, you should be ready to see a puck, right? If you're not ready and you have to warm up on the ice, then you're not separating yourself from your competition, right? If you get on the ice warm and you're ready to go, then you're creating separation right away, right? People do recognize faces and remember faces, and people do kind of walk down the hallway to see what's everybody doing, what are the dress rooms looking like, and people being buffoons, or is somebody being mature and wanting to be here, wanting it, right? Also, I'm a big fan of, but I never really enforce this, of doing cool down stretching, right? So when you get your gear off, get back into your workout attire or your shorts or whatever, do a quick little jog around the rink and then do a nice long static stretch. Like, that doesn't have to be more than 10, 15 minutes. Get undressed fast so you're not making your parents wait too long. And again, people see that and they see good habit, right? Here's someone who already has good habits. We don't have to teach them how to have good habits, right? And if you're already doing that in a stressful situation like tryouts, you're most likely going to do it in games. And guess what? Your teammates are going to build good habits because you're doing it as well, right? A lot of people tend to follow the unorthodox people, and doing cool down stretching is unorthodox, and people follow it because they will wake up the next day feeling better than what they would normally, right? Onto the ice and warm ups. I think most of the time they get 5 minutes, which isn't crazy. That's why the off ice warm up is so important. Last year, I believe it was Coach Laurie, maybe it was even a year ago or 2 years ago. She's done research. Coach Laurie is a mental trainer that we work closely with, Inner Mind Sports. If you need an assistance in mental health and goalie performance and stuff like that, she's definitely the one to go to, like, right away. That's my initial reaction. But she always recommended do your stretches and your skating at center ice facing your net, right? One, it puts you right in the center of attention for everybody, right? If any evaluators are watching warm-ups, they see the goalie in the middle of the ice. They don't see the goalie sitting beside the boards, right? Do your stuff. Don't do it lackadaisical. Short, crisp movements, right? Good stretch, and then get in net, get ready to go right away, right? Tryouts start when you get to the arena, not when you get on the ice. The second thing is that Billy brought up was don't be lackadaisical, aka have really good body language. What's body language? It's essentially your aura of how you're presenting yourself, right? You got hunched shoulders, you don't want to be here, it shows, right? And nobody's going to want to interact with that person, right? Shoulders back, you're looking confident, feeling positive about yourself. You don't have to be egotistical or anything like that, but be quick to get into the net, be quick to go get your water, be quick to do this, right? Show enthusiasm that you want to be here, right? I bring up my dad a lot. I'm monotoned. I'm very even keel. I get it. My dad always used to hate how even keel I was. He wanted me to show more enthusiasm, right? And I'm sure having a podcast and monotone voice don't go hand in hand. I wish I was more enthusiastic, and this is me trying to be enthusiastic about talking. Now I'm off on a tangent, and that's a Billy thing, and it's not a Michael thing. Well, it probably is, but here we go. I don't even know where to go from there. So body language, hit the ice running, aka be ready to go as soon as you touch the ice. Tryouts start when you get to the arena, not when you get on the ice. And in fact, mentally and physically, your tryouts start well before. Make sure that you're physically prepared. We're not going to get into that subject because that's something we've already talked about. Excuse me. Is there anything else, Billy, that you can think of that would help somebody stand out positively? Obviously, stop the puck.
Yeah.
Is there anything else that you can think of?
This is very dependent on the goalie. But one thing that I used to like to do with my goalie coach in college was before games, he would just tell me like two things, and I've implemented this into my game now. Like two things to like, what are two things that make you successful? So for me now, it's like backflow and maintaining my feet. So for me, it's like, okay, no matter how much the puck is passed around, obviously, unless it's like very, very tight, I can probably get there on my feet, so I don't need to slide. So that's just one, like, those are just two small things that I try to focus on when I'm in game, to know that I am fluid in the crease and that I'm going to beat the pass and basically stare the shooter down and be like, yeah, right. Like, you're not going to score. So maybe
you're highlighting two strengths.
Yeah, two strengths. So like, say maybe you're a bigger goalie, like maybe you play a little deeper. Just like work being like a strength could be patience, just waiting for the shooter to shoot, like instead of committing to a play.
I have a question for you.
Yeah.
If you're evaluating, do you want to see goalies that are trying to stop dump-ins and rims and like potentially failing? Do you want to see people do that?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing with that is don't do too much, and it's easier said than done. But if you're not a guy that plays the puck, as an evaluator myself, like I'm not gonna really. It's a box to check off. So if I see a guy playing the puck very well, yeah, I'm gonna check that box off and say he plays the puck well. If I see a guy playing the puck, stopping the puck behind the net, pulling it off the net or board, sorry, for the defenseman, perfect. Maybe I'll give this guy a, 4 or 3.5 out of 5. Maybe I'll give the guy that played the puck every time a 5. He didn't make one mistake. But at the end of the day, like that is a separating skill, but it's not something that it looks a lot worse if you try to do too much and you turn it over. Right.
Yeah. So
it's a
I
confidence
agree with you. Totally. Right. It's a confidence thing. I like to see people at least try. Right.
Yeah.
Let's say it's a hard rim and you try to stop it. Okay. He has enough confidence to get out of the crease and try to help the team out. Right. Is he always successful with it? No. That's where Billy and I come in as goalie coaches and help out with that, right? Mm-hmm. During the season. But at least you're showing that you're willing to do it, right? Mm-hmm. And let's say you go out, you stop it, you pass it to the wrong team and they score. Oh well. Like, I personally don't really care about that because again, you went out, tried, and we can figure out your timing with the pass. I'm curious on how you react to that situation after. Are you shell shocked and scared and now you don't want to be playing puck ever? Or are you like, all right, well, let's just not do that again. Like, let's not make that mistake again and still go out and make a little maybe simpler plays or whatever, right? So for me, it's kind of a two-parter here, right? I want to see you at least try, because it is a separating skill, and it shows me that mentally you're able to do it, right? To commit to it. And then if you get scored on by chance, right? I'm always watching what happens after the goal, right? Are you a stick slammer, water bottle thrower? Do you go to the corner, reset, come back, and learn from what happened, right? AKA putting that best foot forward.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I 100% agree. I think the biggest thing there is just like, again, goes back to confidence. To try to keep it short, but it's like, don't make it a habit. Like I went through a phase where like I literally turned over the puck and like got scored on like 2 or 3 games in a row, I think. And like the one we like lost in overtime. So it's like that's one goal that probably should have never happened, you know. I think so. Like that's one thing where it's like you need to know yourself. And what I like to do now, actually, in warmups, is like I'll just skate along the red line with the puck, stick handling, and then just skate up and down, feeling the puck. And then like so, then when I'm in a game, when I feel confident when I stop the puck. So like, because a lot of times guys will stop the puck behind the net, and they'll just like either rim it, and like sometimes that doesn't help the team, or they'll leave it, but then there's like back pressure on their defenseman, and then the defenseman gets like pinned, and now it's just like chaos. So it's just like a lot of times you have more time around the net.
It's a stressful situation and skill, right?
Yeah.
It does take good timing, and it takes a lot of repetition to get very comfortable with it, right? And that's why it's a separating skill, and that's why I want to see people try and fail, right? I think the same thing kind of goes with communication. Tryouts is like a pressure cooker, and it's usually not very good hockey because there's no system in place. People are either coming back from the off season not being on the ice at all. Some people have been on the ice. Some defensemen don't know how to play on 2-on-1, whatever, right? I think it's the goalie's responsibility to calm the storm in our zone and help at least just the 2 defensemen figure out where they're supposed to be or where I want them to be, right? And if they don't listen, they don't listen, right? We can't control that. And hopefully throughout the season, whatever, it gets better. But I want to be loud enough. I want it to be loud enough as the goalie, and I want the goalies to be loud enough for people in the stands to hear them, right? Then they're, without a shadow of a doubt, that person could hear you. That defenseman could hear you. If you're talking and you're not loud, then the evaluators don't know, right? And you can say, oh, I was talking all you want, but if you're not loud enough in a rink that is already loud, then they just don't know, right? So like communication kind of goes hand in hand. It is a separating skill. It is a teachable skill, but if you already have it, then it's a leg up, right? It's an extra tick.
I think that's a huge way to stand out, is definitely being able to communicate. And also like, here's another, and this is like obviously like circumstantial or whatever. Shot comes from the point, hits your player and deflects in the net. How do you react? You give that guy a tap on the arse and say, hey, it's all good, buddy, whatever, shake it off. Or are you throwing your hands in the air? Because right away for me, if I see, especially like an unlucky goal where I'm like, oh, what are you supposed to do on that? And I see a guy kind of throwing a hissy fit, that's just a no for me right away. Like, I'm like, you need to know in the net that those bounces are going to happen. And like, at that point, it's like, honestly, there's nothing I could have done there. On to the next one. Like, so like,
yeah. To be honest with you, for me, I don't think I would ever tap that guy on the shin pad and be like, oh, that's all right. I'd just be like, damn. All right. Let's go to the next one.
Yeah. Don't get me
wrong.
But like that's what
I wouldn't place blame on him. I wouldn't place blame on him, but it does go back to earlier when I said, like, I care more about what happens after the goal than the goal itself.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Especially at a young age, because it's all developmental, right? We're trying to develop who already has good habits that now we can move forward with developing, right? Anyways, Billy, top 3 things for a goalie to stand out in minor hockey tryouts.
Show up early. Be polite to all staff, including the rink staff. And lastly, have a plan in place before you get there.
Ooh. That's a good one. For myself, I'm going to say get up after every goal, right? Whether you want to or not, skate to the corner. It's terrible, but I already forgot all the points I made. Body language. Communication, I don't think that's top 3 for me. Same with puck playing. I don't think it's top 3 for me. It's just a bonus, right? Work ethic is already kind of demanded and expected. So obviously show that. My third one is going to be preparation. Like off ice preparation, right? Like as soon as the whistle goes, as soon as you step foot on the ice, even for warm-ups, even if it's a practice, tryouts started. You can't warm up now, right? Or warm up then, because that's going towards your evaluation, right? So get to the ice surface already ready, which means the off ice preparation, which means off ice warm up, right? And then try to have fun with it as well. Like tryouts are stressful enough. You don't need to be putting extra pressure on yourself. All that you have to do as the athlete is put your gear on and go have fun and show them your good side. Right? And if you're too stressed to show them your good side, then you need to have a little bit of self-reflection and learn how to deal with the external pressure that's happening. Right? At the end of the day, tryouts is just hockey with a different title on the game, right? Same thing with playoffs, same thing with the championship game, gold medal game, Stanley Cup, whatever, right? Junior hockey, the same as minor hockey. 5 players, 2 goalies, 1 puck, 2 nets, same line, pretty much the same rules, right? It's the same. Just go out and play, right? Just put yourself in the best possible position that you can be in. Anyways, thank you for listening to this week's episode. Next week's episode, same time, same place. Hope to see you there, I guess. All right. Bye.
Cheers.